Hi friends, I have another paracord bracelet. This one is the Daisy bracelet and it is a modification of the Aztec sun bar, and it's just a series of daisies running down the bracelet, so you're going to need white, green and yellow to make this one look the best. Okay, so this one will require 3 pieces of paracord, a white piece which is 320 centimeters, which is around about 10.5 feet. This green piece here is 120 centimeters or 4 feet, and then this yellow piece here is 70 centimeters, which is around about 28 inches. And you're also going to need a paracord lacing needle to finish this one off. To start this one off, we just want our green piece and our white piece, and we also need to find the center of each of those pieces, and I'm just going to form a loop in that green piece by crossing one strand over the other. I'm going to take this white piece, which is the longest piece, and feed it up through that loop, then curl it down, and then I'm going to take it around the back and up through that loop again. And then I can just tighten that green loop down and adjust this white one so it's around about 1 centimeter or half an inch. Once we get our loop here set, we can start our pattern, and I'm going to start here with this right hand strand, and I'm going to take it over the green one to form a loop, and then I'm going to take it behind and up through to form a half hitch. I can tighten that down, and then I'm going to tie another half hitch, but I'm going to tie this one in the opposite direction, so I'm going to start this one by coming in underneath that green one, and I'm going to take it over and down through that loop this time. So take it around and down through, and then I can tighten that one up too. And I want to repeat that process here on the left hand side. So I'm going to form a loop by coming in over the top of that green strand, and again I'm going to take it around and up through that loop to form a half hitch. And tighten that one up. And my second half hitch is going to go in the opposite direction, so I start by coming in underneath that green strand here, and I'm going to take the working end around and down through that left loop. And again I can just tighten that up. Once we've tied our hitches here on the left and the right, I'm just going to take those center strands and cross them over, and then I'm going to take my right hand strand and just take it diagonally behind both of these green strands, and I'm going to take that working end around and then dive it down that gap there on the right. So I'll just go ahead and do that, pull that through, It should look like that. And pull that tight, or just pull it up, and we are going to repeat that process on the left hand side. Just take that strand diagonally across the back and then take it around the front and down through that gap there on the left. And then we can draw that up too. And we also want to pull this circle here tight, and we want to get this as tight as we can, so just tighten that up and then tighten up these white strands also. And we want to make sure that this circle here is as tight as we can get it, so it will hold the yellow center later on. So just do that by really making sure that you pull on these two green center strands and tighten that circle all the way up. So our next set is going to be exactly the same as our first set. I'm going to start here on the right and do a half hitch by first coming in over that green strand just to form a loop here, and I'm going to take this one around the back and up through that loop, and I'm going to alternate that hitch by this time coming in underneath first and then coming around and down through that loop, and I can tighten that up. And again, repeat the hitches here on the left hand side. First one coming in above, around and up through that loop, and the next one will come in underneath first, and then I'm going to take it around the top and this time come down through. And again I can draw that together. So once we have done our two hitches here on the sides, again we just want to cross over those two center strands, and then I'm going to again start here on the right and take that diagonally behind, and I'm going to take that working end around and down through that right hand gap there, and pull it through. Just draw it up, and I will repeat that here on the left. Take that white strand diagonally behind and then around and down through that gap there on the left. And again we can just draw this up and make sure that this circle here is nice and tight, and we do that by pulling on these two green center strands just directly outwards to close down this circle, and proceed to tighten the whole thing up. And we just need to repeat that pattern all the way down until we get the bracelet to the desired length. Once you've tied it to the desired length, we just want to lock these end strands into place. So I'm going to do that by again crossing those two center strands over and then taking that right hand strand diagonally to the back. I'm going to take it around and down through that right loop. Just draw it through and then do the same here on the left. Just take that left strand diagonally across the back and then around and down through that left loop there. And you can also draw that up and get this one nice and tight by pulling on these two green strands and on the white strands as well, and just get this final knot as tight as you can get it, and then we can cut off these two excess pieces here, and I'm going to use these two green strands to tie a button. So the excess strands here can just be cut off with a pair of scissors, so go ahead, use a pair of scissors and cut off the excess, and then use a lighter just to singe that end, and then press it flat so it doesn't pull back through the knot, and I just like to use the edge of the lighter to do that. And then we can repeat that here with our other white strand. To tie this button, I am going to start here with my right hand strand, and I'm just going to come in underneath to form a loop here on the right, and then I will form another loop on the left by going above. And then next I want to take this right strand and come up through that right loop, and I want to take this left strand and come down through that left loop. And to tighten this button up, we just need to pull the strands directly outwards. And we can then cut and singe these excess pieces off here to finish the button off. So once you've finished off your button, the last thing we need to do is to lace this yellow strand through the center here. So to do this lacing, I'm going to start here at the loop end, and I'm just going to flip the piece over and work on the back side. And I just want to locate this strand here on the right and get my lacing needle through there and pull it through, but don't pull the paracord all the way through. Obviously we just want to leave a tag end here. And next I want to come in underneath this strand here at the left side and again pull that through. So next I want to dive down the very center of the piece, pull it all the way through, and then I want to come up through that center again. And this time just be careful as we pull this through. If I flip the piece over again, this is going to form our center of our flower, so just pull it through until we get a little nub here. And if I flip this piece over again, I can then lace underneath this strand here. that. And careful not to pull this all the way through. We want to keep that center part of the flower there. So we just have to be a little bit careful. And again, we can dive down through the center and then up through the center and flip the piece over just to get our little nub for the center of the flower. Flip the piece over and carefully come in underneath this strand here. Again, careful not to pull that nub through the center of the flower. So just pull that strand through, and we can again dive down through the center. And then up through the center. Forming that nice center there of the flower. And then we just need to proceed all the way down to the rest of the bracelet. So I'm down here at the end now, and I'm just going to finish off the very last one. So again, dive down the center and then back up through that center. Turn it around. Just form your little nub here, and then to finish it off, I'll come down through, similar to our stitches up the top here, and then to lock it off, I'm going to come down through this other side. So that will finish it off, and then we just need to cut off these excess pieces down here and then up the top as well. And so there you have the finished daisy paracord bracelet. Thanks for watching, thanks for sharing. I like you all, and I'll see you on the next video.